What's up, everybody? We're gonna be doing a hub assembly on a 07 Saturn Ion. Let's get right down to it. We're gonna do this in real time. Loosen the little caps off your cover, 19 millimeter. Take the cover off. Yeah, we got some lug nuts, 19 as well. And bada boom. Try to make this as fast as possible. Alright, so we're doing a hub assembly. Also going to replace the brakes. I'm just going to do the hub assembly in this video. Thought there was a little moisture. Alright, we got 14 millimeter. These calipers. We can go ahead and start with getting those off. We're going to want to grab like a flathead screwdriver, pry bar, push this caliper back as far as we can. Let's grab one of them. Go. Just going to stick it in the slot of the rotor or wherever, because we are replacing the rotors and brake pads, so we're not really worried about gouging anything. We got that caliper piston almost all the way pushed back. I wanted to get it all the way pushed back, but I didn't. Make sure our slides are loose. They're a little stiff. Could use a cleaning and greasing, but we're not worried about brakes right now. And what do we have here? About a 15 mil. Looks like a 15 mil. Snag up one of them. Maybe a 1/2 inch wrench or two. We got a brand new 15 millimeter socket here, so I want to use that. There we go. Gonna use a 1/2 inch drive here. These bolts are usually on there pretty good. Oh! They on there. They on there. See if we can get the gun in here. Can't quite get the gun in there without an extender. Let's grab a little extender. How's that camera angle? Pretty good. You can see pretty much everything, right? See if we can get to that top one. Get past that strut with a little extender. Yep. Go, the old gun will get it. Mounting bracket, we're gonna clean that up when we do the brakes. Pads are wearing unusual and thin. Rotor's pretty bad. All right, let's pop this rotor off. We're gonna need a hammer. And we're not worried about hurting the rotor, so I can hit it wherever. If you're reusing your rotor, hit it right there. Get it to pop loose, not on the friction spot. There we go, just one good tap, got it. That hub assembly wheel bearing, you could take the tire and go like this, slop in it every which way. All right, we got 3 15 millimeter bolts coming through the back, and we got an axle nut here. Let's find our axle nut size. I don't know what size it is off the top of my head, so I just grabbed a couple sockets and see what happens. 32 is a little sloppy. There's probably a 30. I don't want to bore you guys going back and forth grabbing tools. So we're just going to take that off like that. A little sloppy, but it's all right. We got a washer in there. Let's not forget about that guy. All right, now we need the axle to push back. It's pushing back, that's good. If it's froze in there, you'll need an air chisel or something. There's a little hole in the axle to put an air chisel bit in and just press it back. All right, so that's all looking good. Now we got these 15mm bolts here. Let's see if we can get an impact on them to take them out easy. They don't look that rusty, so that's the good news. And I got the key in the ignition so that I could turn the steering wheel. All right, I was able to get to that one, cool. Now we're gonna turn the steering wheel. I still got the tire on the other side. Just gonna grab that tire, cut it over, see if we can get the gun in on this last bolt. Don't go nowhere, caliper. Bada boom. 3 bolts are out. Here's our washer. I'd like to get it out. Doesn't want to come out, whatever. Try to get this caliper in a safe spot. A couple different ways you can get this hub off. This one looks like it has a lot of corrosion where it meets the aluminum steering knuckle, so it might not be that easy to take off. PB blaster, always great. But you can use an air chisel with a real pointy bit to try to get in those ears. You can try to take a little pry bar in this little opening, or you can just hammer it off. There's all different ways. When they're severe, sometimes you need to bust out the heat. Oh, it's breaking free. All right, this one broke free. We've got our little plate here. We can clean that up on the wire wheel. Washer went flying, grabbed it. We've got this little plate here. I think it went like that. Yeah, just like that. We'll put that on afterwards. So now we're gonna clean up our surface. See how that corrosion landed on the axle. And I'm just gonna clean this up with my wire wheel. If you ever have to take the hub off again to change something, it's good to clean it up. Add a little grease or something, just in case it ever has to come off again. Maybe hit this guy a little bit. Knock some of the rust off. Now we're gonna grab some grease. I'll just put a real thin film right there. We'll make sure our shaft is nice and clean. It's not all rusty or anything. We're gonna put a little grease on that too to help it slide into the new hub assembly on the splines. Just helps out a lot, you know. We'll take this plate and get it set in place with the bolts that we took out. Now we're ready for our new hub. Let me grab it. Right over here. This was the rear drum brake without ABS option. If you have ABS option, you'll just have a wiring harness, a sensor to unclip and reroute. Not a big deal. New hub assembly, looks like that. So when I'm putting these in, I like to get the wheel straight. That's pretty straight. And put a little bit of grease right there where it mates to the steering knuckle. Kind of fits in. Keep that corrosion from building up. And we're going to line it up. Fit it through the axle. Make sure it's kind of sitting in those splines properly. And just get our bolts started by hand. One more. There we go. I'm going to turn the wheel. Get these nice and tight. Turn the wheel the other way so I can get the last bolt. And I'm going to give you the axle nut torque spec here in a second. That's important. You don't want to over torque or under torque these guys. The axle nut. Alright, axle nut time. When I'm torquing this down, I'll actually grab the proper socket. You should always use a new axle nut with a hub assembly. They don't always come with the hub assembly. You might want to ask for it at the parts store. Let me see if I got 30 up in here. Ooh, about tripped. There we go, I got my 30 mil. 30 mil fits good. I'm gonna straighten the wheel back up. And we'll figure out that axle torque. So we don't know what our axle nut torque is right now. What I'm gonna do is just snug it up. I'm not gonna pound it on with torque or anything. There, I just snugged it up, real light taps with my impact. Just get it square, you know, for now. Because when we do our final torque, we're gonna need, if we're up in the air like this, we're gonna need somebody hitting the brake pedal So you torque it, or we're gonna need it on the ground. And through the hole of the rim, you can torque that axle nut before you put your cover on. So that's what we're gonna do. You grab this book for our axle nut torque spec. Right. Go to Saturn Ion 04 to 07, 155 foot-pounds. So that's going to get torqued to 155 foot-pounds after we get the brakes together, or after we get the brakes and the tire back on, you know, and then set it on the ground so you can torque it without it spinning. So yeah, now we just got to put the brakes back together. I'm going to do a separate video on that so it's not so long. Compress your caliper, clean it up, put grease where you need to put grease, put it in the sliders and mounting bracket, clean up the mounting bracket. I'm going to put the new pads, new rotor on, and reassemble reverse order for the brakes. Torque the axle nut down to spec, put the tire on, and yeah, then we'll be good to go. Thanks for watching, guys. If this helped you out, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Appreciate you.